Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. So let's do another concept video, which I wish I had made years ago. But let's talk about the writer E.M. Forster and his idea of flat versus round characters, adding the ideas of static and dynamic characters so that we have a spectrum on which to place near reincarnation characters, which I want to analyze, and I'll give what I think are good examples of each combination of these traits. In a lecture, Forster outlines how some characters and narratives are flat while others are round, and this is in regards to their personality. He does not say one is better than the other. He makes sure to point out that each have their purposes. All narratives can benefit from having both, and depending on the goal of the narrative, different types can have more prominent roles or not. A flat character is one who is portrayed simply. They have perhaps one or two defining characteristics or motivations. This is closer to a caricature of a person, and we see a lot of these in like Charles Dickens or Wes Anderson. A round character is more complex. They maybe have an inner and an outer persona. Perhaps they are flawed or conflicted or morally inconsistent. Flat characters act the same every time we see them, while round characters may surprise us with a new aspect of their personality. This breakdown by Forster is very famous, but somewhere along the line, the static-dynamic differentiation was added to the conversation about types of characters. And these are not like four different buckets. It's more of a spectrum, where a character might be flat and dynamic, while another character is round and static. A static character is one that is essentially the same from beginning to end. They do not undergo a great change during the narrative. A dynamic character is one who does change. They learn something, or they turn over a new leaf, or they make a big decision in an unexpected way. And again, there's no one type of character that is better than any other. A lot of people would say that round dynamic characters are the best, because they are the most quote-unquote realistic, and that every character should be that. I think we see that trend in a lot of current media, where every character, even villains, are given a sympathetic, tragic backstory or origin. And so, when it comes to near reincarnation, I have seen some criticism of Noelle, her personality and her arc as being too simple, and those people are falling in the trap of thinking that every character must be complex, or that they are bad and underwritten. But in Noelle's case, we have to consider what is the author's goal in telling her arc the way they tell it. And if we look at it that way, with that in mind, we can see that it is perfectly successful, and Noelle is the right character for that narrative. And actually, Noelle is more dynamic than a lot of characters in near reincarnation, so you could say Noelle is a quote-unquote better character than them, but to repeat, there is no one type better than another. I'll try to make an analysis video of Noelle in the future. Alright, next let's choose some kind of illustrative examples, and I think we'll see that even though they are a variety of types, all of them are likable, or at least compelling. And since I have Argo on the mind, let's choose from men with mustaches. First, we have flat static, and a good example here would be the dude from The Big Lebowski. Simple guy with simple motivations, and he's pretty much the same at the end of the film as at the beginning. Does this mean he's a bad character? Not at all. And in fact, he is quite lovable and popular and memorable. Many characters in Coen Brothers films are flat and static and are memorable and beloved. Next, an example of flat dynamic, I chose George Banks from the film Mary Poppins. He is a straightforward character with straightforward motivations, but he undergoes a change during the film. He has a change of heart and becomes much more attentive and forgiving of his children. I think it's safe to say that he is the most dynamic character in the film, and that really he is the main character. Watch it with that in mind. It could show the film in a new light. Then we have round static. I'll choose Daniel Plainview from There Will Be Blood. A complex character that is repulsive and admirable, obvious and inscrutable, but over the course of the film does not fundamentally change. He achieves his goals and ends up a worse, broken version of the man that he was all along. His son DW is the more dynamic character. And finally, we have round dynamic. I was thinking of picking Tony Stark from the Iron Man movies, but everyone knows him. I'll pick something a little less known, Gustaf H. Gustaf from the Grand Budapest Hotel. self-contradictory, hypocritical, highly flawed, but whereas at the beginning of the film he is dismissive of Zero, his big change comes in eventually embracing Zero as a friend and partner, and even going so far as to make the ultimate sacrifice for him. Alright, that'll do it for the examples. I don't know if you can tell, but I love all of these characters, and if we look at the films that they inhabit, the storylines, the themes, the goals, I think we can say that each character is perfect for their narrative, despite their falling on different places on the character spectrum, and hopefully we can apply this thinking to Neo Reincarnation. Alright, that was E.M. Forster talking about characters. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.